Hi, and welcome to Lesson 1 of the Fundamentals of Slovenian Grammar course. So last time we said that this entire course will revolve around this diagram, or rather that this diagram is the course in a nutshell, and that we would start at the most zoomed out point, which is what we see on screen right now, and that we would then zoom in to a certain part of the language that we're interested in and learn more about that, and that we would then zoom back out to the whole picture, and that we would be moving back and forth like this between whole and part and back to whole again, over and over and over again, until we became very, very familiar with Slovenian grammar. And that's exactly what we will be doing today, and we'll start right away. But just before we start, I'd just like to say one thing, and that is that I can imagine that this can all be very, very, very overwhelming. So, I mean, we have so many different terms on screen, like there's the nominative, the genitive, the dative. Obviously, these are all new to you. And so in these first few lessons, I imagine it can be quite overwhelming and maybe even stressful. And I'm here to tell you that you really don't have to worry, because everything we will repeat dozens of times more in the future. Like literally every single thing we say, we'll say over and over and over again, to the point that you'll probably be sick of hearing the same things over and over again. So don't worry, you don't even have to take notes. You don't have to go back and rewatch lessons. Just sit back, enjoy, and see how much you can take in. So let's get right into it. So this is the whole diagram, and today this is what we will be covering today. So let's get right into it. So we have two circles, and these two circles represent what we will be referring to as the two worlds when it comes to Slovenian grammar. So when it comes to Slovenian grammar, especially as a beginner, it's very, very useful to think of it in terms of two different worlds. So on the left circle represents the world of nouns, and the right circle represents the world of verbs. So when we say, first we can explain nouns and verbs very briefly. Let's just touch on the meaning of noun and verb. A noun is a word for a person or thing, basically. Things and people are nouns when it comes to language, and verbs are what those people or things can do. Verbs are words for actions or states, like to eat, to sleep, to drink, and so on. Now, an important thing to note is that when we say the world of nouns, which is our left circle, we don't just have nouns in mind, but we have nouns, adjectives, and pronouns in mind. And we'll explain all of those. But we basically have the world of nouns on the left and the world of verbs on the right. And we can see that the two circles overlap. And where they overlap is what the two worlds have in common, and where they don't overlap is obviously where they are different. And in this course, we will learn about both worlds separately, individually, but what's probably more important is we will learn how to combine both worlds, so to speak, to really learn how they interact. Okay, so let's have a look at nouns specifically, just nouns, not the world of nouns, but just nouns. So nouns are words for things, people, places, and so on. So for example, table or computer, or even myself, my given name, Bojan, as far as the Slovenian language is concerned, those are all nouns. And I think it's pretty important to know that Slovenian does not make any difference between, say, Bojan, a person, and computer. Both of those are nouns. That'll come in handy in the near future. Now, the second thing to keep in mind, and what I think is very important, is that basically nouns are names. So etymologically, and etymology is the branch of linguistics that deals with word origin. Etymologically, if we go back in time enough, then the two words have the same origin, or rather have a common ancestor. So it's really useful to think of nouns as names. Names of what? Well, again, names of things, people, places, and so on. So this connection might not seem important right now, but it'll prove very handy in the future. So nouns as names, we have the names of things or items. So in English, book and car are nouns. We have the names of people, John, neighbor, sister, and we have the names of towns, cities like Berlin, Shanghai, but also the names of, rivers and lakes and mountains and hills and mountain ranges. All of those would be nouns as far as language is concerned. So if we go back to our diagram, and you'll see right away why I said that, what I meant by that we would be doing a lot of reviewing. So let's go through the whole thing again. We have the two worlds. We have the world of nouns on the left, and we have the world of verbs on the right. Now, we said that the world of nouns consists of nouns, adjectives, and pronouns. Now, in order to avoid using the phrase the world of nouns over and over again, in order to avoid this metaphor of nouns, we will refer to them as noun-like words, okay? It's exactly the same thing. Noun-like words equals the world of nouns. And so if we have a look at those, we're basically talking, we're basically talking about a category of words with common characteristics. And that category consists of nouns, adjectives, and pronouns. And we'll get to what adjectives and pronouns are in a moment. And basically, noun-like means similar to. So similar to nouns. So noun-like words are nouns, actual nouns, and words that are similar to nouns. And those are adjectives and pronouns. And we'll see right away how they are similar. So noun-like words, like we said, nouns are words for things, people, and places. Now, adjectives, the shortest way to explain an adjective is it's a word that describes a noun, and pronouns, rather than describing nouns, can replace nouns altogether. So, examples of the word noun are brother, sister, and house. An adjective would be older brother, or younger sister, or big house. And in order to not have to say my older brother, my older brother, my older brother over and over again, we can just replace it with the pronoun he. Yeah. So let's review. Let's repeat everything we've just said, just in a slightly different way on screen. So we have nouns; those are words for things or people. So for example, brother, sister, neighbors, house. Then we have adjectives. Those are words that describe nouns. So we can have older brother, younger sister, new neighbors, big house. And then we can replace the adjective plus noun, that whole phrase all together. We can replace them with the word he or she or they or it. And those words are pronouns. And altogether, we said they are noun-like words, or we're talking about the world of nouns. Great, so far so good. So again, two circles representative of two worlds, noun-like words or the world of nouns on the left, the world of verbs on the right, and now we have some idea of what we mean by noun, adjective, and pronoun. So a noun is a word for a person or thing or a place. An adjective describes that word in more detail, and a pronoun can replace it altogether. And so we're only left with the world of verbs. And the first thing to say is that it's much, much, much less complex than the world of nouns. Believe me, when you'll be learning Slovenian, you'll struggle with the world of nouns way more. Nouns and adjectives and pronouns are way more complicated than verbs. So verbs are pretty much words for actions and states. So for example, to eat, to sleep, to drink, those are examples of verbs. And as an example of verbs being much simpler than nouns, this is pretty much all there is to say about verbs at this point. There's just one slide on verbs. So going back to the whole thing and reviewing the whole thing before we bring today's lesson to an end, we have two overlapping circles that represent what we will be referring to the two worlds when it comes to Slovenian grammar. And I personally think it's very useful to think of Slovenian grammar in terms of these two worlds. One is the world of nouns or noun-like words. The other is the world of verbs. We said nouns are words for things, people, places, and so on. Adjectives can describe them. Pronouns can replace them. And then we're only left with verbs, which are words for actions or states. And just to go back to the whole diagram that we said sort of our course would revolve around, what we have in the circles then are properties. So gender and case and number are properties that make up the world of nouns, and person and number are properties that make up the world of verbs, but more on that in the next lesson. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. Definitely thank you for watching, and hope to see you in lesson number 2. Take care.